Was that actually the Punisher at the end of the episode?
This episode left me feeling very uneasy.
I didn't expect those cops to survive. That guy's neck snapped. Like, what?
Who do you think Buck Cashman really works for? Could it be Val?
Greetings, Palaxians. Today on the Bounty Board, we're discussing episode 3 of Daredevil Born Again, including the trial of White Tiger, so kick up that warp drive and let's punch it.
Welcome back to the Guardians of the Palaxy podcast. This week, I am here with two of my amazing friends, Tommy and Brett. What's going on, gang?
Yeah, boys' night.
Hey. That's one more thing YouTube needed, a boys club.
Yeah.
There's not enough men on the internet.
Finally, we've got some men to weigh in on Marvel.
This week, we were talking more about Daredevil Born Again. This episode was extremely intense.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of big things happened. A lot of surprising things happened. It's very much centers around the trial of Hector Ayala, the White Tiger. Basically, Matt trying his darndest to prove this man's innocence from a murder of a police officer, which is a big deal. Mm-hmm. Before I continue, what do you guys think of this episode overall?
Heavy episode.
Yeah.
It was a... You know, for Marvel, this was definitely the grimmer territory. We're starting to see this like co-opted Punisher movement by some people with bad intentions, kind of as an excuse to just dispense justice and enforce however they like. It made me really question or think a lot about, did Matt do the right thing as this guy's attorney? Did he sentence him to death with what he did? You know, I know we'll get into that, but I gotta say, this episode left me feeling very uneasy, you know, and I think that's a testament to it being a strong show. I think I like that it made me feel that way. I like when Marvel and these fictional properties can stir up these feelings and questions. So
yeah, everything Tommy said. And then also for me, I think it definitely was a curveball for like the pacing of what I expected the series to be. And I was expecting this trial to last like the entire season. And for it to be wrapped up pretty quickly, I was kind of like, oh, okay, we're going in a different direction here. So like my framework for what the show is has completely changed. And I'm like, oh,
right.
Wow. Like, I didn't expect those cops to survive. We want to talk about that. Like, that guy's neck snapped. Like, what? Right.
He's resilient.
A little scratch.
He didn't even have a neck brace.
No. He's got an amulet, too. His badge is an amulet that heals his neck. It's neck-specific healing, though.
Oh, man. Yeah. I'm surprised they all survived. But Matt definitely gives that Officer Powell some sass in the courtroom. And he's like, hey, best cure for a black eye is fast hands. Why don't you do better? Why don't you box better, bitch?
Which is a wild thing for an attorney to do.
Yes.
Like, even if he wasn't the one who beat him up, just like completely badgering the witness.
Yes.
Matt does what he wants, apparently. He's a very sassy lawyer. Yeah, so we see over the course of this episode, like, you know, Tommy alluded to earlier, that Matt outs White Tiger's identity in order to win the case, because the person the witness that was supposed to testify on behalf of Hector Ayala gets cold feet. He gets super nervous and intimidated by the presence of the cops, that he's like, I don't know anything. I'm just some random guy. What are you talking about? And so Matt has no choice but to go against the deal that he made with the judge himself and be like, oh yeah, let's talk about superheroes and masks and how Hector is the White Tiger.
With no consent from his goddamn client.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like what Tommy said earlier, like, I definitely think that Matt is responsible for his death, like 100%. Like,
although Matt did give himself the out by then being like, you can never go back to being the White Tiger.
That's true.
Probably knowing full well that he would.
Can I just say that's a very Catholic thing to do, by the way? Be like, just live your life like me.
Yes. Yeah.
And
exactly.
you'll be fine.
Exactly. Yeah. He's pushing his own bullshit onto White Tiger, which is not fair.
It was wild. I mean, I feel like that was the outcome was going to happen no matter what. Like, it was like, oh yeah, White Tiger. Unfortunately, you know, the actor having passed away in real life limits what they can do with that specific character anyway. But it's like, oh yeah, this guy's dead. Like, he is gone the second he gets back out on the streets. But the one kind of regret I have is we never really got to see the amulet. You know, we saw like the surveillance surveillance video, but I would have loved a sequence of White Tiger in action.
Right.
And maybe we'll get that in a flashback or something.
It does seem like they're setting up the niece for like in 6 years down the line. For the young Avengers or wherever we're at.
Avengers babies.
And they're all 24. But
Oh yeah, they're full grown adults, many of them with children of their own.
We do see his niece in the audience there with his wife who decides to come, which is great. And yeah, in the comics, she does become White Tiger, the second White Tiger, Angela Del Toro. So it'd be interesting to see if we actually see that happen this season, which would be crazy. See her like start to don the mask, because we also know that Kamala Khan's father is in this show, so like maybe there's a connection there with those two characters. It would be pretty cool to see, because I want to see the White Tiger amulet in action and how it like empowers. I like the whole Avatar aspect of the MCU. Like I love seeing the spiritual aspects and human avatars being empowered by gods. It's cool to have another Puerto Rican superhero on the block, like in Marvel cinematic history. So like I just want that representation to be out in full force.
Yeah, longer than 2 episodes.
And I really feel like this stamps Matt Murdock as like one of the more flawed heroes in the MCU, right? Like it's like, I mean, think about just in this episode, promising Ayala that he's going to see that beach in Puerto Rico again, like probably knowing full well that like either he's going to see death inside a prison or death outside of prison at the hands of some crooked cops. Like,
I mean, I think he truly thought that Hector was going to never be White Tiger again. I think that's like kind of what's going to motivate him going forward, right? Is like, Hector's like, no, I'm still White Tiger. I'm White Tiger no matter what, because it's the right thing to do, and it's going to bring him out and make him Daredevil again. But I think he was just naive. Like that's the only explanation to me.
Or overconfident. We see a lot of overconfidence. Matt Murdock, the attorney, versus Daredevil, the hero. The overconfidence Matt Murdock has as an attorney is like his riz as an attorney. His swagger is like, I mean, he's like laughing, he's chuckling at the answers. Not to bounce around, I thought the courtroom scenes in this episode were fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Top level, like procedural drama, courtroom stuff. Like the guy they cast as the cop, what an all-time hateable, like great performance by him as like, especially when he's laying it on thick about his partner, who like, we know because we saw in the episode that this guy, they were like roughing up an informant and they were in the wrong. And it's like, yet you're still kind of like, oh man, their families knew each other.
And like even the attorney too. It like he was a formidable match for Matt.
Yeah.
And that was like, it was really cool to see. I think a lot of people, myself included, we didn't know what the verdict was going to be. And especially how drawn out it was too. It was like, oh, are they going to get him on manslaughter instead? Like it really was a entertaining court show. They said they've done a lot of reshoots to sort of like restructure what the show is. And I'm kind of thinking that we're going to see it to be like the original version of the show is a lot more episodic and is sort of like a like realistic, grittier, more dramatic version of what She-Hulk was trying to be.
Yeah, like this feels like a proper Law and Order type episode. I love that, like, you know, Marvel Studios kept that aspect of the Daredevil Netflix series in this series as well. They just did it flawlessly. And it very much ties into the overall theme in the MCU, the growing resentment and fear towards enhanced individuals. And, you know, this trial is going to be a big deal down the road for, you know, Wilson Fisk's agenda, and also, of course, the mutant saga, whenever that pops off post Secret Wars. It seems like Matt has to be really careful because he basically killed this man by accident. And like, not only do you have, you know, this White Tiger slaying, but now you have this group of Punisher cops playing vigilante as well. Wilson Fisk can use that fuel, this chaos between like superhero vigilantes and cop vigilantes and whatever, to be like, hey, isn't this what I told you? Like, we gotta like rein this in. We gotta stop the Punisher cops and the superheroes, and like, you know, make sure that no one does anything outside of the law. It's all gonna domino. And I'm sure Spider-Man 4 is gonna sort of pick up the slack of this series and sort of go after Peter Parker in some way. That dude killed Mysterio in everyone's eyes.
Right.
Still, you know, I'm sure the government's going to be after him.
How many episodic cases do you think they're going to be? Like, do you think, because you said Mr. Khan's going to be in it. We know Punisher's going to be in it. There's Muse as well. So I'm wondering, are we just going to get like 1 episode, 2 episode installments that are just like one specific case? And really the Fisk through line is going to just sort of be simmering underneath until the final episode.
I feel like we might have like 2 or 3 major cases throughout the entire series. We'd have to see more characters pop up.
I mean, the good news is these are longer episodes, right? Like they're giving us like a full length show, which has been rare. The shows as of recent have been like, hey, we're going to give you like a 19-minute episode every once in a while. It's like these are all running fairly long. So it does give us more time to have, multiple storylines in an episode. So we can check in with Fisk. We can check in with, Daredevil when Matt Murdock decides to become Daredevil again. And we can still have the legal stuff in the episodes. But I would say 3 at the most. I can't see them having more than that. Although, unless there's some sort of montage of like Matt Murdock in the courts. But it feels to me like I think two, maybe 3.
3 feels like a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that might be the direction they're going, which is surprising to me.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting once the entire 2 seasons air to go back and see like what was the original, if they will be. I mean, I know Disney will never officially, do that, but if through leaks or whatever, we can patch together like what was this originally going to look like? What did it become? And like, I know some people with keen eye for edits are able to kind of pick in each episode like what was added and what's not. I unfortunately do not have that eye, so it's all one big happy show to me.
Like I definitely feel like this episode itself was probably always intended to be in the original series.
They were saying that this episode and the second episode were the premiere. So originally the premiere was just going to be the White Tiger's storyline. And then they added the first episode.
And honestly, it was, again, like that was a fantastic idea because like that was meant to firmly connect the Netflix universe with, with Marvel Studios' mainline universe, which was, the best move and the move to not have people picket outside of Kevin Feige's house daily in rage. For some reason. Yeah, but also we should also talk about the other part of the episode, which is the Fisk part of the episode. Not a whole lot of Fisk action, but we do see that Fisk's like mysterious right-hand man, Buck Cashman, deliver some money to 2 of the heads of the 5 families for restitution for the murder that happened at the beginning of the episode of that weird delivery that gone wrong. Apparently, one of these families stole some money from the other, and so Fisk is like, hey, you guys are not going to do war because war's bad for politics, so I'm going to pay off this family's debt, and so now this family owes Fisk. But like my main question is, who is Buck Cashman and why does he say that he works for the man? Like, who do you think Buck Cashman really works for? Could it be Val?
It's a good question. I liked that line. I interpreted it as like Kingpin is much more than the mayor. I took that line to be like, if you think that this is like mayoral business, that like this, I work for the Kingpin. I don't work for Wilson Fisk, the mayor. I work for the Kingpin, the man who truly runs this city. And will have an empire in the city for years to come. That's how I interpreted it. I love the idea that he's secretly working for a higher entity, as in the man.
That was my reading as well. I do think it also speaks to, I think, the fact that like Wilson Fisk is Kingpin at heart, and right now he's in this period where he's like trying to be the angelic version of himself. But I think thematically we're seeing that like Matt at his heart is Daredevil, and he can't shake that. And I think Wilson Fisk as well, he can't shake the fact that he's a crime lord.
But he's back to eating like a weirdo, just like me, and I love it. There's my boy. Yes, only eat one item on the plate at a time. Wilson, join me. Join me in the one item at a time. Eat your side dishes separately and individually. Annoy everyone at your table. Wilson, I am with you forever. And I say, you want to eat just the eggs, you eat just the eggs, baby. There's nothing wrong with you. What makes you different makes you beautiful.
I like to think that that's the source of his marital problems. Like Vanessa just can't stand it. It's like, come on, Wilson.
Dip
Have some variety. But like no, the main reason why I bring the whole government aspect up is because in the comics, Buck Cashman is a super high-ranking government official that works for Kingpin on the side as like muscle. So like it seems like that might be the case. I mean, I don't. He could mean the man could mean a million things. So like, it could be anything. But like, it would be wild if he was sort of the Val representative of this series.
Yeah.
And like we sort of get that like revealed towards the end, and like Val and Kingpin have been working together this entire time to push forward.
That's an unholy alliance right there. Yeah, I like that.
I would not be surprised if she backed him.
Oh yeah,
it makes sense considering that there is already a connection between Kingpin and Val via Hawkeye, because Kingpin was working with Kate Bishop's mom, and Kate Bishop's mom called Val to assassinate Clint. So like, she probably has that context because of Fisk, because she worked with Fisk. So like, I don't know. I feel like they're already tangentially related via, criminals know criminals. They're all part of the same criminal Snapchat.
Now, I have a question that maybe is just going to expose me as a MCU dweeb. Who do we? What's going on with Michael Gandolfini? What's
my biggest question.
What's up with that dude? There's something more to him, right? Like, obviously, like, is he going to try to kill the Kingpin? Like, is he like? I mean, it feels very like Boardwalk Empire, which Charlie Cox famously was one of the stars of for a few seasons. But in that show, one of the people that works for Steve Buscemi's character is like a young, kind of like precocious riser-upper in the ranks, and turns out his whole motivation is he just wants to kill Steve Buscemi. I get the same vibes from Michael Gandolfini's character. It's like, this is a kid who was orphaned by the Kingpin. Kingpin killed his parents somewhere back in the past, and he's now working for him to get the chance to kill the Kingpin. That's the vibe I get.
He wants to poison his eggs.
Yes. He's gonna
get close enough.
He's gonna put a poison dart in one of his paintings and shoot him in the forehead. But it's gonna be like one of those paintings where the eyes move. The dart's gonna come out of one of the eyes.
That would be such an interesting angle. Like, he's just a secret, like, assassin, or like he has a secret vendetta against the Kingpin. So like, he just wants to get really, really close. Like that would be. That'd be pretty good. That'd be like quite the twist. I have this weird feeling that he wants to be Prince Pin so bad. Like, he wants to be Kingpin Jr. He wants to walk on this man's footsteps. Because like, like people, like politicians like Kingpin, that Kingpin could maybe be, modeled after, who knows? They all have people that, kiss their ass and want to be like them. So like, I feel like he's one of these like opportunistic people that agree with Kingpin's agenda, that want to sort of like rise in the ranks politically, so that they could sort of like be the next Kingpin down the line.
Now the question is, when is Kingpin going to bring in Justin Hammer to really run the New York government?
I would love that so much. I would love
Season 3, man.
He fires Buck Cashman. It's like, all right, new blood. It's fucking
Justin's doing Hammer. Great things. It's unbelievable.
We've got to sell more. What's it called? More missiles.
Yeah.
More of the ex-wife missiles. They work perfectly. They've never
beautiful missiles. Justin's son just slaps him across the face in one of the episodes.
All right, so I guess the biggest question that a lot of people have been asking, even though like we probably know the answer, because he wouldn't really do that, but like, was that actually the Punisher at the end of the episode?
No, I think it was the cop with the Punisher neck tattoo.
Obviously.
Yeah. I think it was the one that was like, Torres can't get on the stand or whatever. I think it was that guy. This is just the casting director hat. I'm going to put the casting director hat on. Why give him a line in that episode if he's not going to have a bigger scene in an upcoming episode? And show his neck tattoo. I think they want you to think it's the other guy with the arm tattoo that already got his ass kicked by Matt Murdock. I think it's going to be the neck tattoo guy.
Sorry for a weird tangential thing. It's wild that that Powell left the stand and immediately tried to kill the witness. Like, fucking dude, you don't like. There's no other corrupt cops in your little like corrupt cop gang. Like, you have to do it by yourself.
Yeah, and also like, I guess maybe realistic to the fact that like in real life he wouldn't do it, but like, why didn't he kill Cherry? It's like he already exposed to Cherry that like, I'm definitely a corrupt cop coming to kill this witness. But he's like, he's not in the back of your van as you were.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just gonna do everything myself.
So like, that to me says, I mean, it feels like it's Powell, but I agree with Tommy that like these other corrupt cops are going to be part of the group, the mob that Punisher is going to slaughter.
Yeah, that there's going to be a great scene in a warehouse where Punisher kills all of them.
Yeah.
Take my shirt off.
Yeah.
So do you guys feel like that's going to be the main plot of the Punisher Disney Plus special? Like just Punisher versus these, like his weird fanboy?
I think they're
cops?
addressing it here. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
going to be like the same through line for his Disney Plus special. It feels like very much that this is a central theme of this season.
It definitely ties into the whole vigilante aspect.
I love that they just put those special presentations on ice for like 3 years, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're coming back out with Punisher. We told you we were only going to break in case of emergency." And like, you guys got real excited when you saw John Barenthal back in that little teaser clip. So, all right, special presentation them.
Honestly, it's a really good move for the Punisher specifically.
Yeah.
Because just to like, get people excited for the character. And like I like special presentations because like they're a lot quicker to make than like a whole series and then the movie. And we just get a new addition to the MCU. So like I'm down for like super short stories.
Yeah.
With like, like our favorite MCU characters. Like this.
I've got a tangential question for you guys, but Daredevil related. Do you think after season 2 of Daredevil Born Again concludes, this is leading to a Daredevil movie? Do you think it'll be they're going to go the Mandalorian route with this, where it's like this show's going to be a smash? They're going to do 2 seasons and then greenlight the movie and then bring in whatever Defenders work in the second season and if they really are going to be in the show, and then Punisher, and like we're going to get this 3-hour, 2.5 hour, $200 million movie.
That's a good question.
And is that needed?
I think that eventually, once Marvel Studios sees like Daredevil's popularity for them specifically, they will end up like giving him his own movie. But like I think that for now, he's probably going to be cameoing in other movies before he'll actually end up getting his own. But like, I just think that this TV format is just like really good for him.
It does just work so well. It's why like I'm almost a little bit skeptical of the Mandalorian movie, because I'm like, the Mandalorian works so well as this TV show.
I agree. I don't think Matt should move into movies. I think they know that people want the Netflix stuff, and like they did rewrites to make it more like the Netflix stuff. I think this is a character that really works with prolonged arcs where you can really dig into his character and explore all of the fascinating like dark shadows of Matt Murdock. And like he's got a lot of duality, and I think characters with a lot of duality work really well on television. And movies are much more flat in terms of character development.
Yeah, and to that point, pre MCU, we have 2 Daredevil movies that were not giant hits. I mean, obviously, the first one was popular enough to spawn a sequel and then a spinoff, but it's they certainly weren't hits to the level of what MCU considers a hit, right? So I'd say there is evidence to that. It's all, I'm a momentum person, and I'm like, oh, these 3 episodes were so well done, and obviously there's still 6 more to go this season, right? There's 9 or 10.
9 apparently.
9, okay. My point being, the greedy Tom, after getting his Daredevil fix, was like, come on, give us a movie too. But I agree with you guys. I think the format of television is much better suited for Matt Murdock.
I mean, that said, I think there is proof that, these past episodes have been doing really, really well in the ratings. So I wouldn't put it past Disney to be like, hey, we'll give him a movie. I just think the character works best in a television format. And I think like they know what people want, and that's the Netflix Daredevil.
I mean, obviously we're going to see Daredevil win as Spider-Man, or like probably Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, like little cameos. I agree.
Yeah. But I think at the most, like maybe we might see a Defenders movie, just to like, get people interested. Like people that don't have Disney Plus, they can like go see the Defenders and be like, oh my God, who are these characters? I want to learn more. I want to subscribe to Disney Plus to watch all the seasons of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, etc. But like, I think that for the most part, Matt Murdock is best served as like doing mature TV rather than like Disney taking the risk of doing a rated R Marvel movie that might not appeal to people as much as Deadpool.
Do you guys think they're going to do a Heroes for Hire thing maybe as a series instead to bring Luke Cage and Iron Fist back and maybe Jessica Jones as well without Matt, and so they can still like carry on those characters' stories and then MCUify them?
I mean, that screams special presentation to me if I've ever heard. I don't
Honestly,
know that it would get a full season. I just don't know that like in their slate, it feels like Daredevil will scratch that itch for them in terms of like that style of show. So I would wonder if they'll go kind of all of the characters in this like smaller Daredevil universe will get special presentations or, you know, continue to appear on Daredevil. But you never know. I mean, I guess whatever's popular, right? Like whatever really actually, whatever resonates and actually gets people talking about Marvel in a positive light rather than this constant, you know, kind of fountain of MCU is dead, which is, you know, as we know, clearly not happening with the amount of content that's coming out and the popularity of it. But it's like, you know,
I keep hearing the MCU's dead. The MCU's so back. The MCU's dead. The MCU's so back. Like, whatever, man. Like, I don't really care.
It's weird that people are doing that with this show too. I'm seeing a lot of split opinions on this show, and I think it's like pretty consistently like it's an entertaining show.
Yeah, if you haven't gotten 3 episodes of entertainment out of it, I don't know how to help you in terms of how you consume the MCU. If it's not your favorite thing, I totally get that. Like, if you're a fan of like Guardians of the Galaxy, I can see how you would tune into Daredevil and be like, all right, this is maybe a little too dark for me. Like, you know, why isn't there some sort of New Zealand or Australian accented character, you know, spitting one-liners at me? But like, you know, I think you get you a franchise that can do both, right? Like,
exactly.
I mean, that fast hands line is pretty fucking top notch.
I mean, basically, anytime Matt Murdock's being an asshole in the courtroom, it is on par with like any of the quips in a James Gunn superhero movie too. But it's like, I digress.
It would have been really cool to see Matt Murdock like as a lawyer for the like back when the TVA was arresting people.
Yeah,
like I would love to see Matt Murdock defend someone like at the TVA. That would be so fun.
I want to see Matt Murdock litigate a snap.
Trial. That's like dope.
Mediate a snap divorce. Ooh. Be like, I came back. She's married to this other guy, and so now I can't live in my own house.
I would love to.
I don't know who Frank is. She's married to Frank now. Frank sleeps in my bed.
It sounds like Spider-Man problems.
Yeah.
Honestly, that I really want to see like that's a really great idea. I really want to see like Daredevil take on a case like that because like we haven't really heard stories about that snap period
or like human beings reacting violently to the consequences of the snap. Like that's obviously like, okay, a divorce is very sad, but like a guy who like assaults his wife's new husband and like nearly kills him because of, you know, the devastation of that, like Matt Murdock dealing with the psychological element of that. I don't know. Just spitballing here, guys. Just do a little MCU writer's room.
I think that's what I wanted more out of She-Hulk. I think my favorite episodes of She-Hulk were the courtroom scenes and the courtroom episodes. And I wish we got more She-Hulk like that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's where that fits in better. Because like She-Hulk is really good at the episodes of She-Hulk that work are really good at expanding the MCU's sort of lore, but from a legal sort of lens. So I would want to see She-Hulk do that stuff.
Yeah. Like Mr. Immortal and all of his wives.
That was fun. I love that episode. It would be really fun. Like, remember the end of Secret Invasion when like everyone started getting super paranoid about Skrulls and like just started shooting.
I memory wiped. I Peter Parkered that whole series, man. I'm sorry.
You got approached by Agent K and like you memory wiped.
I was like, Doctor Strange, please.
Take it from me. But no, at the end of that series saw like, you know, people like, you know, attacking Skrulls, shooting Skrulls. And like, you know, I feel like a really interesting case would be like people accidentally shooting or maybe even purposely shooting like regular humans on the guys like, oh no, I thought they were Skrulls. So like, you know, I shouldn't be acquitted for murder because like of this really real problem of like an infestation of aliens. And so like, it'd be interesting to see Matt take a case like that where it's just like, all right, was this person being truthful? Like, I don't know. I just want to see the fallout of Secret Invasion actually happen. Because like, even though the show ended like ass, it was a big deal, a really big deal to the MCU. And like, I don't want them to drop Skrulls completely. I think that there's still a lot of potential there.
I think a lot of the cool things about the MCU being this sort of long running franchise is they take a lot of opportunities to go back and polish up things and not necessarily retcon them, but recontextualize them. Like I think Age of Ultron is a good example, right? Also Thor Dark World, right? In Infinity War, they go back and they give us more context to his relationship with Frigga. I think the MCU is really good at like figuring out, oh, this thing didn't work. Let's find a way to at least make it like somewhat tolerable because it is part of our lore and we have to stand by that. With Secret Invasion, though, I'm kind of worried that they're just going to sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
I really hope not. I mean, like, they did miss a lot of opportunities, but like, I think that there's still a lot of potential there. I think they're probably waiting for the Fantastic Four to sort of like do Skrulls next, to sort of like wipe the taste off, because we still haven't seen the Super Skrull proper. We've seen like, you know, Gravik sort of had the Super Skrull powers, but like not really. We haven't seen like the actual Super Skrull with the Fantastic Four powers specifically. So like once they actually tackle that and like sort of like make it cool.
Do you think they'll do it post reboot?
Yeah, I think that right now they're full steam ahead with like ending the multiverse saga like completely, so that they can like sort of move on to like telling a tale of like an Earth-centric xenophobic world that's just like growing scared of enhanced people. Because like I think they just want to like go back to making a smaller narrative that rather than a huge multiverse cosmic narrative. So yeah, I don't know. This whole period post Endgame feels like the epilogue for the Infinity Saga. Like it just it feels like at the end of Secret Wars, like the official book that is Kevin Feige's MCU will close like in like a symbolic way, and then we'll restart a new like soft reboot book of the MCU that like it's like a new beginning, like a new like chapter 1 for the mutants, which is a perfect time because like, you know, X-Men are coming and like there's no more Iron Man, so like they need new like central heroes here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely feel like we'll see that post Secret Wars. I don't want Marvel to juggle too many things at once.
No,
because they really have to land the Secret Wars bird well, or else they're in trouble. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
It all depends on Doom, man. Like if it's weird, I don't know.
I think they know. I think that Doom will be handled well. Right now, like just because we don't really know what the plot is, I feel like once we see the first trailer, or at least the first full trailer, they'll be like, oh, okay, so like that's why. All right, so like I'm down with this.
My current standing on Doom is it's going to be tolerable, but it's going to change the character, like including the comic book character forever.
Ooh.
I think Doom's DNA is about to be changed. And that's what I'm worried about, because Doom is
like a mutant.
Yeah.
Mutant.
That's what I'm worried about.
Beast. He's like, I'm shit.
I am Iron Man. Oh, when I say that.
No, Robert, stop.
But like speaking of Daredevil and Secret Wars, do you guys feel like Daredevil is going to play a big role in that movie because of his growing popularity in the MCU?
I mean, I think, you know, it's interesting. Like Marvel does tend to like, oh, this character, like look at Rocket Raccoon in Infinity War. It's like, okay, this character is immensely popular. and to the point where like Guardians of the Galaxy gives him basically the whole last movie. And I mean, it's his story. And it's like, yeah, because we are all obsessed with this character. Like we love this little guy. We want more of him. We want to see more we want to see more stories from him. Now, will that translate to Matt Murdock and Daredevil? I don't know. I feel like if the second season builds off of a very successful first season, that I could see him being more than just a 5-minute cameo in Secret Wars.
It'd be really cool if he actually played a bigger role, but like at the same time, he is more so like a neighborhood type of hero. So like, you know, it'd be cool if they just. I'm down with either one, really.
Yeah.
However they really go for it.
Right.
But yeah, I'm so excited for more of this series. I'm so excited for the future of the MCU because, again, we are wrapping up to Secret Wars and it's going to be super dope. But yeah, what do you guys think is going to happen in the next episode before we wrap up?
I mean, I think it's going to be the fallout of a vigilante being, shot gangland style, in the head, a very violent murder of a recently acquitted person, countered with Kingpin's, putting out to the media his damning of the verdict. I think that you're going to see a city in absolute turmoil, forcing Matt Murdock's hand ever closer to the Daredevil cowl to redon the suit. I don't know if he's fully going to become Daredevil in the next again, if he's going to be born again in the next episode, but I would imagine by the end of episode 4, he's back in the saddle.
Yeah. I think I agree with Tommy. I think it might not be for long in the episode. It might just be like the cliffhanger or whatever. But Matt's going to be like, I'm going to be Daredevil again at some point in this next episode.
I'm going to be Daredevil again.
Yeah, like I'm
thinking I'm Daredevil again.
Your Honor, I am Daredevil again. Do you guys think that this next episode is going to be the Punisher episode that we actually see John Bernthal appear in because of the murder in the Punisher suit?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll get another clip in a few days, kind of leading up to hype up the episode. I wonder if by Friday we'll have a little supplementary piece of material to go crazy about.
That is where the hype is, right? Because you don't show the Punisher logo like that without being he's coming. Yeah.
And you also don't want to like get away from it then too. It's like, all right, did you like that little Punisher logo? Well, wait 6 episodes.
Yeah. Now we're going to focus on an artist.
Yeah. Imagine if Ralph Boner again.
Oh my God.
Ralph Boner.
Ralph Boner is the one that killed him.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just can't help myself.
That would be so fucking funny. I would cry loud. But yes, I cannot wait to talk about episode 4 with you guys next week. It's been fantastic to talk about episode 3 with you guys this week. And thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have been amazing. We love you guys so much. Leave a like on this video if you guys like the video, and maybe even share it with your friends. Tell your friends about the podcast. We love you guys so much. Have a great
pals.
week.
Thanks, pals.
See you later. Bye.